Ada, a brilliant 17-year-old with dreams of becoming a surgeon, had always been the pride of her family. Her academic achievements earned her a scholarship to Ebunoluwa Academy, where she quickly rose to the top of her class. But despite her intelligence and charm, Ada harbored a secret. Her father's employer, Mr. Okoye, the wealthy benefactor of the school, had taken an unsettling interest in her. Mr. Okoye, a man of influence and charm, was revered for his generosity. But behind closed doors, his benevolence came at a price. He had offered to pay for Ada's mother's surgery when her scholarship didn't cover all the expenses, ensuring the young girl felt indebted to him. Ada, struggling to balance gratitude with growing fear, began to avoid his frequent visits to the academy. Ada's best friend, Kemi, began noticing changes in her demeanor, missed meals, dark circles, and a sudden drop in enthusiasm for her studies. Late one evening, Kemi overheard a tense conversation between Ada and Mr. Okoye in the school's library. Though the words were muffled, the tone was unmistakable. Torn between loyalty to her friend and fear of the consequences, Kemi stayed silent. One day, Mr. Okoye crossed a line. Ada decided she couldn't endure the situation any longer. She approached the school's headmistress, Mrs. Danjuma, hoping for support. But instead of offering help, the headmistress dismissed her, warning her to remain silent to avoid tarnishing the school's reputation and her future. Unable to find justice within the school, Ada turned to social media. She anonymously shared her story, which quickly went viral. Other students and alumni began sharing similar experiences, and the once pristine image of Ebunoluwa Academy began to crumble. As public pressure mounted, the school board was forced to act. Investigations revealed years of misconduct and cover-ups. Mr. Okoye's reputation was destroyed, and Mrs. Danjuma resigned in disgrace. Ada, Kemi, and other students who had suffered spoke out, their voices forming a powerful chorus of change. Months later, Ebunoluwa Academy underwent sweeping reforms, with new leadership and policies to protect students. Ada, though scarred by her experiences, began a new chapter. She received a scholarship to a university abroad, determined to fulfill her dream of becoming a surgeon. Her bravery became an inspiration, proving that even the most silent voices could bring about the loudest change. As Ada's story went viral, an anonymous email appeared in her inbox. The sender claimed to be a former staff member at Ebunoluwa Academy who had witnessed similar incidents but was too afraid to speak out. The email included hidden camera footage of Mr. Okoye behaving inappropriately with another student years ago. This evidence became a turning point, solidifying public outrage and giving Ada the courage to keep pushing forward. As the scandal gained momentum, Ada discovered that some of her classmates, particularly children of wealthy donors, had sided with Mr. Okoye. They accused Ada of lying to bring down a man who had done so much for the school. The betrayal hurt deeply, especially when one of these students spread rumors that Ada was fabricating the story for attention. Amid the chaos, Kemi, Ada's best friend, broke down in tears and admitted her silence. She revealed the conversation she overheard in the library, apologizing for not coming forward sooner. Though hurt, Ada forgave her, understanding the fear Kemi must have felt. The two friends reconciled, their bond stronger than ever as they faced the battle together. Ada's parents, who had initially hesitated to support her publicly due to fear of retaliation, finally decided to speak out. Her father, a driver for Mr. Okoye, quit his job and gave a heartfelt interview to a local news outlet, denouncing his former employer. The family's courage inspired other parents to support the victims, leading to an outpouring of community solidarity. The investigation uncovered that Mr. Okoye wasn't acting alone. A small group of staff and board members had covered up multiple complaints over the years, ensuring the school's image remained untarnished. Public anger grew as more names and stories surfaced, leading to multiple resignations and even arrests. Students organized a peaceful march through the town, wearing uniforms and carrying signs that read, "We are not silent and protect our future." Parents, teachers, and alumni joined them, creating a powerful visual of unity and change. The march became a symbol of hope, with media outlets broadcasting it across the nation. Ada was invited to a national television program to share her story. Nervous but determined, she spoke eloquently about her journey and the importance of holding people in power accountable. Her words resonated with viewers, and she became a symbol of courage for young women across the country. Years later, Ada, now a successful surgeon, returned to her hometown to deliver a keynote speech at a newly reformed Ebunoluwa Academy. The school had adopted her story into its curriculum, teaching students about ethics, courage, and accountability. As Ada looked out at the students in the audience, she saw hope in their eyes and knew the battle she fought had paved the way for a brighter future. During the investigation, a whistleblower within the academy revealed a hidden ledger kept by the school's financial officer, Mr. Daimeji. It contained records of hush money payments made to silence other victims and protect Mr. Okoye. The ledger became critical evidence in the ongoing case, unraveling a web of corruption spanning decades. The disgraced headmistress, Mrs. Danjuma, reached out to Ada with an emotional confession. She admitted to covering up complaints against Mr. Okoye out of fear for her own job, but now wanted to help bring justice. Mrs. Danjuma provided additional evidence, including confidential letters from parents who had been silenced in the past. Though Ada initially struggled to trust her, this partnership became crucial in exposing the truth. Ada discovered that her uncle, a minor school administrator, had known about Mr. Okoye's behavior but had kept silent to secure his own promotion. This revelation shattered Ada's trust in her extended family and forced her to confront the complexities of complicity within her community. Inspired by Ada, a younger student named Zainab decided to share her own story of harassment at the academy. Her testimony, full of raw emotion, became a turning point in the case. Her courage sparked even more victims to step forward, breaking the cycle of fear.
As the net closed in, Mr. Okoye attempted to flee the country. Using his wealth and connections, he planned to board a private jet. However, authorities intercepted him at the airport, and his dramatic arrest was broadcast live, shocking the nation and cementing his fall from grace. A retired teacher, Mrs. Agbeje, came forward with her own story of surviving harassment by Mr. Okoye decades earlier. She revealed how she had been dismissed from her job for resisting his advances. Her testimony highlighted the systemic nature of the abuse and gave Ada's case a historical context. During the trial, Mr. Okoye's lawyer produced fabricated evidence aimed at discrediting Ada. However, Ada's legal team uncovered the deceit, turning the tables and exposing the lawyer's unethical tactics. The courtroom erupted in chaos as the judge demanded an investigation into the lawyer's conduct. Kemi, emboldened by Ada's resilience, decided to pursue journalism to expose systemic injustices. She began writing a series of articles documenting the Ebunoluwa scandal and its broader implications, earning her national recognition as a fearless investigative journalist. The Reformed Academy, under new leadership, established the Ada Is Foundation Scholarship, aimed at supporting underprivileged girls with dreams of higher education. Ada was invited to the inauguration ceremony, where she met the first group of recipients, realizing her struggles had paved the way for their futures. From his prison cell, Mr. Okoye wrote a letter apologizing to his victims. While some viewed it as a ploy for sympathy, others saw it as the first step toward his acknowledgement of guilt. The letter sparked debates on redemption and justice, further dividing public opinion. The Ebunoluwa scandal led to sweeping national reforms, including mandatory reporting laws, whistleblower protections, and ethics training in schools. Ada, Kemi, and others became part of a national task force advocating for change, ensuring the legacy of their struggle lived on. Amid the public uproar, a wealthy but reclusive philanthropist, Ms. Udo, donated a significant amount to Ada's legal team, ensuring they had the resources to combat Mr. Okoye's powerful connections. Ms. Udo revealed that she was an Ebunoluwa Academy alumna who had been silenced years ago and had since dedicated her life to empowering victims of abuse. The revelations about Ebunoluwa Academy triggered similar accusations against other elite schools and institutions across the country. Former students began to share their stories, leading to a nationwide movement, #BreakTheSilence, which forced governments and organizations to confront decades of abuse and cover-ups. As the investigation deepened, it was revealed that Mr. Okoye's family, including his brother, the high-ranking politician, had benefited from the academy's corrupt practices. The scandal extended into government circles, exposing a web of nepotism and bribery. This revelation led to public protests demanding political accountability. As Ada's profile rose, so did the threats against her. Her family was forced to relocate to a safer area after receiving anonymous warnings. Despite the fear and isolation, Ada remained steadfast, determined to see the case through, even if it meant losing her comfort and security. Kemi's investigative articles brought national attention to the Ebunoluwa case, but some media outlets ran smear campaigns against Ada, framing her as a manipulative opportunist. The contrasting narratives created a polarizing national debate, forcing Ada to defend herself in a live televised interview. Mr. Okoye's estranged daughter, Ifunanya, publicly denounced her father, calling him a monster and sharing her own experiences of emotional manipulation. Her testimony shocked the nation and added a deeply personal angle to the case. It also showed that even those closest to predators could be victims. The court case stretched over months, with dramatic testimonies from victims, whistleblowers, and experts on systemic abuse. The prosecution's key moment came when they played the hidden camera footage from the alleged whistleblower. The courtroom fell silent as Mr. Okoye's actions were laid bare for all to see. Young people across the country began organizing clubs and workshops in schools to educate peers about boundaries, consent, and abuse prevention. Ada became a symbol of this movement, often joining events to speak directly to students and encourage them to take a stand against injustice. Despite her public strength, Ada struggled with the psychological toll of her ordeal. She began seeing a therapist who specialized in trauma. These sessions helped her confront her fears and reclaim her sense of self-worth, offering a window into the quieter battle survivors often face. The story reached international audiences, with Ada receiving invitations to speak at global conferences on women's rights and education reform. At one event, she met Malala Yousafzai, who encouraged her to continue fighting for justice and education for girls. Although Ada's legal victory sent Mr. Okoye to prison and transformed Ebunoluwa Academy, she acknowledged that the fight against abuse and corruption was far from over. She vowed to dedicate her life to this cause, turning her pain into a powerful force for change.